Welcome back. Well, imagine losing the love of your life to brain cancer, your kids losing their mom, and now you have end-stage liver disease. The situation seems hopeless, right? But there is hope. Jeff Jacobsen knows that hopelessness and hopefulness firsthand. He's a liver transplant recipient. Good morning. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning. It's my privilege to be here.
So take us back to the beginning. Tell us how it all happened.
Well, about 8 years ago, we had just finished a vacation in Canada, and I'd gotten back to the Dayton area, and some coworkers were mentioning how I just did not look very well, and I seemed to be, not very strong. I was healthy up to that point. So I went to my primary care doctor in Dayton, and he did a test, and then immediately he sent me to Kettering Memorial Hospital and told me, you have internal bleeding. And so I was taken there, and they found out that I was bleeding inside from the varices because of portal hypertension, which means end-stage liver disease. And the crazy thing was, they're asking my wife, did he have a lifestyle that led to that? And she said, absolutely not. And so the only cure, and after it was a liver transplant, because I actually had a rare disease called alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency. And I was even rarer because it was 1 in 100,000. It was only the liver. It was not the lungs, and it usually starts in the lungs. But I remember these genetic things you don't ask for. But I remember as a kid growing up, and my great-grandfather, I was told, had died of cirrhosis, and I'm thinking, is this part of that? But so anyways, I got listed and with the University of Cincinnati, and the wait, I will say, was about 10 months, and it got very bad. It progressed, pretty fast. And then that call came in that Wednesday night. My kids and my wife were at church for a midweek event, and I got the call from University of Cincinnati. And that was the life-saving call that changed my life for sure.
Do you know anything about the donor?
I don't. I have written them a couple of times as a thank you note because what they had to do was also end life support and for a loved one, and that's really hard. And I don't expect a reply, but the transplant took place. It started at 2 in the morning. It's amazing how a team can start at 2 in the morning. It lasted 10 hours.
Wow.
About halfway through, the surgery team came out to my wife and said he probably only had about 30 days left.
Wow.
But I woke up in ICU feeling better, and that's the cool thing about a liver transplant.
Wow, it was like immediate.
It was immediate, and the last thing I'd said to my wife before they put me under was, I don't want to wake up with a breathing tube because I'm a gagger. but that was in there, it didn't matter, and then they took it out immediately because I'd never had any lung issues with this alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency. So
now you are feeling great and so thankful for this second chance here.
Very, very thankful. My recovery was as normal, few months recuperation. I am now, I serve at a church in the Dayton area. I have, as you mentioned earlier, I lost my first wife, but I remarried, and I have a 12-year-old and a 9-year-old. And I will say that, during some of the recovery and even leading up to the transplant, I did want to give up. Ascites, the fluid buildup was massive. But what happened was I put their picture up on my wall of the hospital room, and that also motivated me. And along with, and I will acknowledge this, the prayer and faith support of many, many people, because with transplantation, you get listed, but there's no guarantee.
Sure. And for you, it took almost a year, and luckily that call came just in time, and now you are able to spend that time with that family, your kids and your wife who encouraged you along the way. Jeff, thank you for joining us. joining us this morning and sharing your story. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Yep, take care. Well, if you want more information about how to become an organ and tissue donor, or you have questions, click on lifeconnection.org for those answers. Your day is back in a moment.